Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fact or Fiction, where we smash myths and spill truths on topics in queer culture. I'm Rory Hunter, LMFT, LPCC, and today we're talking about the early recovery phenomenon known as the pink cloud. If you've ever been in early recovery or know someone who has, you might have witnessed this. Suddenly, everything feels amazing. Life is beautiful, sobriety is easy, and you're wondering why you didn't quit years ago. And then the cloud fades and reality hits hard. Today, we're sorting fact from fiction by looking at the pink cloud effect, what it is, what causes it, and most importantly, how to prepare for what comes afterwards. Whether you're in recovery yourself, supporting someone who is, or just curious, this video is for you. Myth number one, the pink cloud is just psychological. It's all in your head. Not fact, but definitely fiction. While there's definitely a psychological component to feeling optimistic about recovery, the pink cloud is very much rooted in neurobiology. So let's talk about what's really happening in your brain. When you're using substances, whether that's alcohol, meth, cocaine, opiates, or even engaging in behavioral addictions like gambling or compulsive sexual behavior, your brain's reward system gets hijacked. These substances and behaviors flood your brain with dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure and reward. Over time, your brain adapts by producing less dopamine naturally and becoming less sensitive to it. When you stop using, something really fascinating happens as your brain starts to heal. The initial cessation triggers a rebound effect. Dopamine production ramps back up, serotonin receptors begin to repair themselves, which helps boost mood, and new healthy neural pathways start forming through a process called neuroplasticity. You're sleeping better, eating better, and your brain is literally rebuilding itself. And as all of this happens, you might feel better than honestly you've felt in years. This neurochemical surge is what creates that euphoric pink cloud feeling. It's not fake positivity or wishful thinking, it's your brain overcorrecting as it tries to find balance again, and it feels incredible. Myth number two, the pink cloud means I'm cured. This is definitely fiction. The pink cloud can create a dangerous, false sense of security. When you feel this good, it's easy to think, I've got this. I don't need therapy anymore. I can skip my support group meetings. I can probably handle being around my old using friends. But here's the reality. The pink cloud is temporary. It typically lasts anywhere from a few days to a few months, but it will end. Your brain isn't trying to maintain that euphoric state forever. It's just trying to find homeostasis, a state of balance. That initial high is a chemical overcorrection, and as your neurotransmitter levels stabilize, the euphoria will fade. Building structure in your recovery before the challenges appear is one of the strongest relapse prevention strategies we have. Support doesn't mean something is wrong, support means you're investing in long-term stability. This is why it's crucial to use the pink cloud period wisely. This is your period to establish healthy habits, build your support network, and engage in therapy, as well as develop coping strategies. Don't coast on the good feelings. Capitalize on them to create sustainable recovery infrastructure. It's important to stress this timeline. The pink cloud typically ends a few weeks or a few months into recovery, meaning those in their first year are at the highest risk of relapse as a consequence of the pink cloud ending. Myth number three, the crash after the pink cloud is just in my head. More falsehoods. After the pink cloud fades, some people experience a period known as Post-Acute Withdrawal Syndrome, or PAWS. This is not just feeling a bit depressed, it's a recognized neurobiological phase of recovery. And honestly, it can be really rough. PAWS involves ongoing neurobiological challenges as your brain continues its long-term healing process. We're talking about persistent symptoms that can include mood swings and emotional volatility, anxiety and depression, sleep disturbances, difficulty concentrating and memory problems, low motivation, and an increased sensitivity to stress. These symptoms can last for months or even years after you stop using. This doesn't mean recovery isn't working. It means your brain is doing the deep and difficult work of rewiring itself back to health. The pink cloud was the easy part. This is where the real transformation happens. And here's what makes that period particularly challenging. The contrast, going from the euphoria of the pink cloud to the grind of PAWS, can feel like a crash. You might think something's wrong, that you're failing at recovery, or that sobriety just isn't worth it. But understanding that this is a normal, expected phase of neurobiological recovery can help you push through it. And as mentioned before, this is all when you are at the highest risk of relapse and need to be engaging all of your recovery resources. Now let's review some facts about why the pink cloud happens in the first place. Number 1, dopamine rebound. After prolonged substance use, the brain's dopamine system is depleted, especially with stimulants like meth and cocaine. When using stops and after the initial acute withdrawal period, dopamine production temporarily spikes as part of the healing process. This creates a natural high. Number 2, serotonin repair. As well as dopamine, serotonin is another neurotransmitter that is involved in producing the euphoric feelings that drugs can create. In particular, drugs like MDMA and LSD release a lot of serotonin. As serotonin pathways begin repairing, mood and emotional regulation improve, sometimes dramatically. Number 3, neuroplasticity. The brain starts forming new and healthier pathways. Better sleep, nutrition, connection, and a sense of safety, i.e. just better lifestyle choices, all accelerate this repair. And number 4, stabilization. Eventually, the brain reaches its new balance point, and that's when the pink cloud fades and normal emotional range returns. This isn't magic, it's just neuroscience. And since we're talking about science, this might be a good time to talk about medication. When the pink cloud ends, underlying anxiety or depression may become more noticeable, and even more serious mental health disorders. Sometimes it was always there, just marked by substances or early recovery euphoria. So let's talk about specifics. For depression and anxiety, SSRIs and SNRIs are commonly prescribed as first-line treatments. These medications help regulate serotonin and norepinephrine levels in your brain. For anxiety and sleep disturbances, gabapentin is often used, and for alcohol use disorder, medications like Campral have been developed to ease PAWS symptoms, including insomnia, anxiety, and depression. Naltrexone reduces cravings by blocking the euphoria effects of alcohol and opiates. For stimulant use disorder, like methamphetamine addiction, the research for medications is still evolving. At this moment in time, there are unfortunately no FDA-approved drugs for stimulant use disorder. However, there are a number in clinical trials. Existing drugs that are being prescribed to help with stimulant use disorder include Wellbutrin, which works by helping regulate dopamine and can help with the dysphoria and cravings of withdrawal in early recovery. Recent studies have shown a lot of positive results in combination therapy using extended-release naltrexone and Wellbutrin together. Naltrexone is used for stimulant use disorder by blocking opiate receptors, which blunts the reward pathways involved in stimulant use and reduces both cue-induced and general cravings. These drugs are part of a growing arsenal of medications that fall into the category of medication-assisted treatment, or MAT. These are evidence-based, extremely effective, and for many people, life-saving. The key here is that medication works best as part of a comprehensive treatment approach that includes therapy, support groups, and lifestyle changes. It's not a replacement for the work of recovery, but it's a powerful tool that helps provide a stable foundation so that you can do the internal work. In the LGBTQ+ community specifically, where we face higher rates of substance use, mental health challenges, and systematic barriers to healthcare, accessing appropriate medication shouldn't be stigmatized. It should be normalized and celebrated as part of taking care of yourself. So to recap the facts. The pink cloud is a real neurobiological phenomenon, not just psychology. It's temporary, not a sign that you're cured. PAWS often follows. It is a normal part of recovery, and you should be prepared for it. Medication can be an important, legitimate tool to help with PAWS, and the pink cloud should be enjoyed and leveraged to establish healthy routines, not resisted. Recovery is a journey with many ups and many downs, euphoric moments and challenging ones. Understanding the pink cloud helps you prepare for both, and that preparation can make all the difference. If you're in recovery, be gentle with yourself. If you're supporting someone in recovery, share this information with them. Knowledge is power, and in recovery, it can literally save lives. Thanks for watching another episode of Fact or Fiction. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you next time.